video tutorial, we're going to show you how to add code and make your web gallery, your image gallery, work in Lightbox. The first thing we want to do, however, is to make sure that these images, the thumbnails that we've added, open up the actual big pictures and link to the full-size images. So to do that, what we're going to do is click on the little thumbnail image. First, we'll start with this one. We go down to the Property Inspector at the bottom of Dreamweaver, and we're going to click on the Browse for File folder. And I'm going to locate the image 1 in my gallery folder, so that's the full-size image I want. I click Open, and I'm going to repeat this for image 2 and image 3 and of course image 4. So now if I preview the gallery now, if I click on the globe up here in Dreamweaver and preview it and click Save, and I click on the image, it should just open them up in a regular new page, which it would do normally. And I'm going to close that window. However, what we need to do to make the Lightbox JavaScript work, we need to add the code now from the Lightbox site to generate the JavaScript. So to do that, we go back to the Lightbox instructions page, and we're going to select the first 2 lines of code at the very top, the script src lines of code, and I'm going to copy them, Command-C on a Mac and Control-C on a PC, and I'm going to toggle back to Dreamweaver, locate in the head of my HTML document, after the line that says link href desktop CSS rel style sheet, this line, which is our link to our external style sheet, I'm going to hit return a couple of times and paste the code in there. So make sure that it's inside this head tag in your HTML, but I want it underneath the other style sheet. Going to toggle back to Lightbox instructions and grab the next line of code, which is this line of code. So we're up to step 3, and we're going to copy this CSS link. Above that, right underneath our other, so there's a blank line right there underneath our other link to the desktop CSS, paste it there. And so we've got that line of code, and you can see now we've got our page actually linking to 2 style sheets, and that's totally fine. Some elements will be controlled by one and other elements will be controlled by another. And so the next thing we're going to do is go back to the instructions. Step 4 says to look inside the img folder to make sure that those icons are there, and we already did that in a previous tutorial. In fact, the first Lightbox tutorial setup that we had, I had you move the img folder into your root folder that contains these icons. So then we're up to part 2, turn it on. And so I'm going to show you manually how to add the code here. And my code's a little bit different than this version of Lightbox, but they both do the same things. The title works the same way as well. So you can use either these instructions or you can follow the instructions I'm going to show you right now. So I'm going to toggle back to Dreamweaver, and I'm going to open this code area up a little bit more. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the beginning of each one of these href tags, and I'm going to hit return. So I've got each one of my href, and this shows that there's an anchor or a link. So A for anchor is a link to the full image. And I'm going to separate each one of those. So wherever you see that beginning, you can add, just move it to a new line. And one of the things with code is that computers don't really care a whole lot about spaces and the way you arrange this. So it's mostly for the ease of looking at this code. So don't be too concerned about adding a new line down here. So at the very first image here is image 1. I'm right after the quotation marks for image 1 JPEG. I'm going to type in here rel equals Lightbox to launch Lightbox, and actually I want Lightbox in quotation marks. That's very important. Lightbox, and I'm going to add a square bracket and put in there Dave's, and this is just a name that I'm going to give to this gallery. And if I give the same name in square brackets to all of the images, then Lightbox is going to treat all the images as if they're part of the same library or the same gallery, which is what I want. So Lightbox, Dave's, and then the only other thing I'm going to do is I am going to add a title, which is a caption essentially. Title is a caption, and I'm going to type in for my first image, Athletic Dave. That's the caption. Then I don't need to type this all over again. I can just copy that line of code we just put in, and I'm going to Command C, and I'm going to go into after image 2 space. I'm going to copy it in there and just change the title or the caption for this picture, and I'll put a caption here, stick 'em up. Okay, and then I'm going to do my next image, image 3, and the title for that. So everything else is going to be the same. Dave at Santa Monica. And then my last one is this image 4. Paste it in there, and this image is going to be Dave on guitar. So there we have it. I'm going to save this and refresh it. And now I'm going to preview it and see what happens. Let's see what happens. Go to the globe, preview in Safari. Here's my gallery, and now I click on it, and sure enough, it pops open the image, and when I hover over it, I get the little arrow on the right. It's got the caption down the bottom, the exit sign there, and I can navigate. I've got my previous and my next buttons there, and so my gallery is now working using Lightbox. However, there's one last thing I want to do here, and that is, I'm going to toggle back to Dreamweaver, add a new rule for how these thumbnails look, because they are all different sizes, and I want to make them all look like they're the same, they're part of the same gallery. And so to do that, I'm going to create a new class rule for my images. And you may recall, to create a class rule, we simply, I'm going to double click to close the insert panel, and I'm going to click on the little new CSS rule, click on that, and go up to class to create a class rule, and I'm going to create a class rule for gallery underscore images, gallery images. And I'm going to click OK. And the class rule is simply going to be, I'm going to go to box, and I'm going to set the width to 150 pixels, but I'm also going to set the height to 150 pixels. Now this may make some of them skew, and so it makes you realize that you probably want to actually create proper little square thumbnail images. But this is going to force them to conform to exactly the same size. And I'm going to make the padding 3 pixels, and I'm going to set the margin to 3 pixels on these, and I'm also going to add a border to all of my images. So I'm going to click on border, and I'm going to use this groove. I'm going to use a groove, and I'm going to choose a medium groove, and the color here, oh, I don't know, I'll choose this dark red, which I seem to like using. And I'll click on that. No point clicking apply because I haven't added this rule to any elements yet. Click OK, and let's see what happens now. I'm going to click on my first image here, go down to the bottom in Property Inspector and Dreamweaver, and choose Gallery Images. Yes, it's skewed, but let's see what happens to the next one. Gallery Images. Yes, it's skewed a little bit too, but it's the same as the previous image. And so, yes, it is indeed skewing them, but it does give them all the same border, makes them look all of the same. And now, when I preview in Safari, and yes, I will save, and I'll save the style sheet too. Now you've at least got a uniform gallery of thumbnails, and you can open them up and enjoy your Lightbox gallery.